Welcome to Algonquin Provincial Park during the most beautiful season. I'm Kristen from Tiny Footsteps Travel, and I'm going to give you some insider tips for visiting Algonquin during the most popular time of year, the fall. My husband and I have been coming to Algonquin for our wedding anniversary every year for the past 7 years now, and it's time we finally gave you the tips that we've learned over time after many trips during the most popular time of year to visit this incredible park. Algonquin is the oldest provincial park in Ontario and has some of the most rugged wilderness. There are lots of places to enjoy fall colors in Ontario, but the dramatic beauty here is what keeps us coming back here specifically. By the way, we don't come during the week as we have kids in school. We brave Algonquin on the weekends when it's the busiest. As you may already know, Algonquin in fall is very busy on weekends. And we want to give you the best things to do in Algonquin during the fall and weekends and how to navigate the crowds and have the best experience. My first and most important tip is, when a place gets as busy as Algonquin gets in the fall, it's not a good idea to just go up there without planning. Have an idea of exactly what you want to go up there to do. Is it a hike, a boat tour, picnic on the beach, or just drive through? Just know what your goal is, and don't worry, I'll give you lots of ideas after this. In most cases, you need a park permit in order to enter Algonquin in the fall, and it needs to be bought online in advance. Make sure you buy it well in advance, as they do sell out. I've actually seen people at the visitor center arrive from Toronto and get told that there are no more park passes available for the day. Here's the thing though, you can still drive along Highway 60 in Algonquin Park without buying a pass. The catch is that you're not allowed to occupy any parking spaces or use the washrooms or anything related to the park at all. It's just drive without stopping. My parents actually do this every year. They just drive through Highway 60 in Algonquin and they just enjoy the colors. If they were to be caught stopping or parking somewhere, then they could be ticketed. Technically, there's no rule against just pulling over on the side of the road quickly for a quick photo. But on fall weekends, the park discourages this just because it gets so busy. We've seen park staff driving and walking around checking vehicles to see if they can find any that have parked without having a park pass. So in my opinion, it's not worth it to try to sneak in without having bought a pass. So I wouldn't make driving through your first choice on any day if you can help it, especially not Saturday because of the traffic. My favorite thing by far to do in Algonquin Park is the hiking. The main hikes all get pretty busy on weekends, actually very busy, so you need to be there early in order to get a parking spot. The main hikes in order of difficulty, not popularity, but difficulty, are Centennial Ridges, Track and Tower, Booth's Rock, the Lookout Trail, Beaver Pond Trail, and Spruce Bog. These are the classic hikes that Algonquin is popular for, that people drive for hours to do. These hikes are popular because they're located along Highway 60, so they're very accessible. And in addition, a lot of them have those spectacular views. They're not too long, well, except for Centennial Ridges, if you do the whole thing, they're not too long, and they offer spectacular viewpoints in return. My favorite hike in Algonquin is Booth's Rock. You just can't compete with these views. It's so panoramic and dreamy, like a postcard. It's also the best bang for your buck because it's not a super difficult hike, but it has a huge payoff. We've gotten lots of good shots here over the years. From the parking lot, you only need to hike about 45 minutes to an hour to get to incredible lookouts like these. There are lots of big, smooth rocks you can sit down on, have lunch, and then just enjoy the incredible views. Understandably though, how easy Booth's Rock is and how beautiful the views are means that I'm not the only person who has it as their favorite hike. This hike is in huge demand, especially in the fall. As a result, the hike was becoming too overcrowded, so you now need a separate pass specifically just for Booth's Rock. The reason this has happened with Booth's Rock and not the other hikes yet is that the parking lot is very small. I've heard that there are ways around it. There will be people online suggesting that you could camp at the campsite down the road from it, and then you can access Booth's Rock Trail as long as you're willing to bike or walk a bit further. I haven't tried this personally, nor will I. I've only tried my luck at 7 a.m. 5 days before the hike, and sometimes we get it and sometimes we don't. If you aren't able to get a spot in Booth's Rock, at least a couple other of the hikes I mentioned are pretty good alternatives to it. Enter my second favorite hike, Centennial Ridges. Centennial Ridges is probably the second prettiest hike in Algonquin. There's so many wraparound views from the trail that look out onto the lake with islands. It's absolutely gorgeous, especially in the fall. Centennial Ridges is a tough one though if you do the whole thing at over 10 kilometers. But I've noticed that Quite a few people actually don't do the full trail like we've been doing. They instead go in the exit. And from there, you can do a quick out and back in just 30-ish minutes for these incredible views. If you do the whole thing, please bring enough water and food. There's so many spots to sit down with a view, and that's the nice thing about such a long trail, is that even if the parking lot is over full, you can't really tell on the hike because there's so much space for people to spread out. Truly, every time we do Centennial Ridges, although it's a lot of exercise, it's a very relaxing day out where we can really connect with nature. By the way, if you're finding this helpful so far, please subscribe for more videos on Algonquin, Ontario, and nature-based travel, including traveling with kids. It'll be a win-win for both of us. For me, because it'll help me finally reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers that I need, and for you to get real tips from someone who's done the things they recommend. So let's move on to a hike that I'd say is pretty close to Booth's Rock and Centennial Ridges in terms of its beauty, Track and Tower. Track and Tower has a very pretty view from the summit over Cache Lake with the two islands in the middle of it. The view has almost become iconic of Algonquin. The Track and Tower hiking loop is 8K, so it's a bit shorter than Centennial Ridges, but it's still a little bit of a commitment. It also has a bike loop that I haven't tried. Track and Tower doesn't have as many of the big panoramic lake views as the other two, but it does have the pretty look at the summit, plus a lot of waterfall views on the trail. I think the Track and Tower trail is the one most rich with rivers and streams than any of the other of the popular trails in Algonquin. I've only done Track and Tower once, but it's a good hike worth doing, and similar to the other two, getting here early is a necessity. Beaver Pond Trail is also really nice, but if I'm honest, it might not be the most dramatic in terms of fall colors because a lot of the trail is surrounded by evergreens which don't change color. It is really nice for river views, and the lookouts are very pretty for a hike that you don't have to ascend too much. It's also, like the others, very popular, but that also means there's always someone who will take your picture for you. I know that I sound like a broken record telling you to be there early for every hike, but it's either that or try your luck getting a spot when people are finishing up their hikes. The keeners will get to the park between 9 and 10 a.m. and start their hikes, and then it's probably a 3-hour window for the popular hikes before they're vacating their parking spots. So it's either be there in the 9 to 10 a.m. range or wait 2 to 4 hours for their parking spots to start opening up again. So it's 10 a.m., pardon my voice, September 27th, and we're just driving on Highway 60 in Algonquin, and a lot of the parking lots for the most popular hikes are full. A lot of parking lots are full by 10:30, so it's good to get here early. So yes, we see this every year. Between 10 and 10:30 a.m. is when you start to see completely full parking lots at all the popular hikes. So if you're set on doing a hike, I recommend being there before that time. Another tip about Algonquin that I can't stress enough is to bring good shoes if you want to do a hike. By good shoes, I mean something sturdy and waterproof. Hiking boots, for example, are really good. On one of our earlier hikes, I wore runners, but they got soaked through and we had to go find an outfitters in the park to replace them with real hiking boots. Fall, even if it's been a dry season, can be really wet and muddy. The ground's uneven, the stones get slippery. So you'll have a much better time on the hike with dry feet that aren't killing you by the end of it. Another thing to do in Algonquin in fall that's really nice is a canoe trip, whether it's renting a canoe or doing a guided canoe trip. Opeongo Outfitters is on Lake Opeongo, just off of Highway 60. We booked a tour through them once that dropped us off somewhere in the middle of the lake, and we could canoe around at our leisure, and it was really nice. We felt like we were out in the wilderness away from everyone. There are also guided canoe tours offered, and you can find some of them on Viator. My last tip is to consider staying overnight somewhere near Algonquin. I know that it adds to the cost, but it does reduce stress. It gives you a better experience because it's much easier to get into the park early, and it makes your trip up here more relaxing. We stay over for 2 nights every single year. We've stayed in many different places, usually cozy cabins in the middle of the woods or glamping units. There's a lot of great places to stay, and there's a lot of places to eat, especially in the Huntsville area. Huntsville, Algonquin Park, and the Highlands are the reason why we love this area so much. If you find this video helpful in planning your trip to Algonquin, please don't forget to subscribe for more Ontario and Canada and even international honest travel content. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have an amazing time in Huntsville this fall.